Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Henry Higgins III, and with Beetlejuice hitting cinemas this weekend, I thought I'd take a look at 10 movies I'm either really looking forward to seeing between now and the end of 2024 or will be seeing because it's a comic book movie, and as I saw Madam Web in the cinema, the bar cannot be lowered any further. So let's not waste any time and get right into the list in chronological order with number 1, Speak No Evil. Following in the footsteps of films like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Let Me In, Speak No Evil is a remake of a well-received and critically acclaimed Scandinavian film. Having seen the original, and being a huge fan of James McAvoy's ability to inhabit a role, this has the makings of a must-watch psychological horror thriller. If you haven't seen the original, I would recommend you do, but whether you see it before you watch this one or not, I leave entirely up to you. Number 2, The Killer's Game. With The Killer's Game being only his second movie as a director, it's not a disservice to his talents to say that J.J. Perry is likely more well known for his stunt work, his stunt choreography, including doubling for many roles in the Mortal Kombat movies. He was the stunt double for Johnny Cage in the first Mortal Kombat movie, Scorpion, Cyrax and Noob Saibot in the second. Plus he also played Sub-Zero in the TV show Mortal Kombat Conquest. Side note, that is a fantastic series, cheesy and corny but absolutely brilliant, so check it out if you can. The cast for this is insane. Dave Bautista, he is a versatile actor. He's such a versatile actor, and he's easily the most accomplished ex-wrestler to take up acting as essentially a full-time gig. While my old running buddy Drew McIntyre, billed under his real name I believe of Drew Galloway for this film, he makes his Hollywood debut, and in the film he's only playing a brother to a character played by Scott fucking Adkins. Scott Adkins is absolutely phenomenal. He's been an amazing stunt performer for so long. I'm glad he's getting in front of camera roles as an actor now. He absolutely killed it, no pun intended, as Killer in John Wick 4. A lot of people didn't realise it was him under that makeup, under that fat suit, but he did such an amazing job. Throw in Terry Crews, throw in Pom Klemenchef, Sophia Boutella and Ben Kingsley. You also get genre staple Daniel Bernhard, who is a underappreciated and undervalued performer, both as an actor and as a stunt performer. And for me, you have an action flick with all the ingredients to be a classic romp, filled with great performances, amazing stunts, great fights, and more than likely a few laughs thrown in for good measure. Number 3, Megalopolis. I mentioned in the previous entry, look at the cast. It's a fantastic cast for that type of film. Look at the cast for this. Adam Driver, Giancarlo Esposito, Nathalie Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, John Voight, who is a fantastic actor, even if as a person he's a fucking idiot. Catherine Hunter, Dustin Hoffman and Lawrence Fishburne obviously round out that cast. And Metropolis has been a dream project of Coppola's for decades at this point. So there is an excitement just for it actually being a dream now realised. As I said, the cast is amazing. It has a fascinating premise that orbits topics of life, death, atrophy, prosperity, and the meaning of existence. The trailer is bonkers. I've seen the trailer a couple of times. I still don't actually know what's going on, but in the best way, I don't know what's going on. And the trailer gives a promise that love it or hate it, anyone who sees this will remember it. Number 4, Hellboy The Crooked Man. After the absolutely abysmal Hellboy in 2019, starring David Harbour, and I had so much hope going into that because David Harbour, again, I've mentioned it a few times, people who are underrated or fantastic actors or both. David Harbour is definitely someone who, when you know he's in something, he's going to do what he can to make it the best thing possible. But the 2019 Hellboy was just ruined by an awful script, awful effects. Everything about it was wrong. So I had a lot of trepidation about them rebooting Hellboy again. But after seeing the trailer for Hellboy The Crooked Man, it was obviously a teaser trailer, I now do have high hopes for this one. Taking direct inspiration from a 3-issue miniseries of the same name, which itself was part of a larger anthology of miniseries. There was like 4, I believe, maybe 3, but definitely this was like the first 3 issues of an anthology series. This has a younger Hellboy in 1950s Appalachia. He's dealing with a village of witches, and the titular antagonist, the Crooked Man, is their leader, the leader of this village. Now, the teaser trailer was suitably eerie in the way that it was shot, with amazing use of light and dark composition. There was some genuinely unsettling imagery, some unsettling sound effects, and Jack Kesey, he looks like he will actually do justice to Big Red. He's no Ron Perlman, but that was a bar set so high, no one is ever going to come close to it. So at this point, I'm not expecting a Ron Perlman level Hellboy. I'm just hoping that we get a Hellboy that does justice to the character, does justice to the source material, and is actually fun to watch. Number 5, Joker, Folie à Deux. It's not an understatement to say that the first Joker movie was divisive, but the subject matter was never going to be palatable for everyone, and especially with the Dude Bros taking Arthur Fleck as the hero of the piece, it was misunderstood by a lot of people. However, I'm not obviously going to say you're wrong for disliking it. I, however, absolutely loved it. I thought it was a perfect example of a comic book movie not being a comic book movie. And for Joker Folie à Deux, the fact that Joaquin Phoenix has actually came back to reprise a role for the first time in his career, to me that speaks volumes on how confident he is, how confident the director Todd Phillips is in the script for this movie. So as much as I loved the premise and I loved the build up and the story being told in the original Joker, knowing that Arthur Fleck was the antagonist, he is not the protagonist, he is not the hero of that story, I have high hopes that they deliver on the promise of what the first one gave us and what this could be. Now, one of the big questions going in is Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Now, in A Star Is Born, she showed that she can act her fucking arse off. Lady Gaga is phenomenal in that movie. The whole movie's great, but Lady Gaga is absolutely brilliant in that. And Harley Quinn, especially a Harley Quinn in this version of Gotham, is right up her alley. I am really excited to see what she does with this movie, especially as it's been touted as a musical, but we don't know how much of it's going to be a musical. She can obviously sing, she can obviously act, she's going to be great. Brendan Gleeson is always great value in any supporting roles he gets, any leading role he gets, and absolutely anything that gets Catherine Keener on my screen automatically has my interest. She is a fantastic actress. She is a long time crush of mine. So seeing her getting roles in big budget, high profile movies like this is fantastic. Not much is really known of the overall plot of the movie, nor how much of it is actually going to be a musical, how much of it is actually going to be a courtroom drama type situation, because we've seen clips in previously released teasers that there's obviously Arthur's in court, and it looks like he's going to be defending himself at some point. So we don't actually know how much of it's going to be a musical, how much of it's going to be in Arthur's head again, how much of it's going to be a courtroom drama, how much of it's going to be a crime thriller. But I know that I really enjoyed Joker and how it interpreted Arthur evolving into the Joker character over the events of that film. So I'm going to go into this one with the hope that lightning can indeed strike twice. Number 6, Venom, The Last Dance. While the two Venom movies have not been critically well received, especially Let There Be Carnage, my son and I personally loved both of them. The biggest issue we had, and I think everyone had going into the first Venom, was how were they going to do the Venom look with no Spider-Man inspiration in that universe? But they absolutely nailed it, in my opinion. And the first film was such a ride. It was carried fully by Tom Hardy's manic energy and charisma, and the pitch perfect duality he had in performing both as Eddie and as the Venom symbiote. Everything about those movies were really carried by him and his performances, so I don't expect this to be any different. However, Chiwetel Ejiofor is a fantastic actor as well. He's genuinely mesmerising in any role he plays, and I'm interested to see what he is here. Because the events of Let There Be Carnage, the mid-credit scene, confirmed that the characters exist in the larger MCU multiverse. But Chiwetel is not playing a variation of Mordo in Venom 3, Venom The Last Dance. So we'll have to see how that plays into the larger scheme of things. Sony does not have a great track record of continuity and making things make sense. So we'll see, I guess. Stephen Graham is one of the best actors around. He's one of the best actors in Hollywood right now. Everything he does, everything he plays, he gives 100%, and he's fantastic. So I'm hoping he gets to cut loose a little in this one as Toxin. I want to see what that looks like. Well, from the trailer, getting to see Venom dance with Mrs. Chen, that'll be worth the ticket price alone. Mrs. Chen and Venom, their relationship is fantastic, and it's almost like fan service, but I am totally here for it. And the introduction of what we believe is the xenophage, that's also going to be interesting to see how well that is adapted and how it's explained for the general movie-going audience, most of whom don't read the comics. They don't have the history of these characters that long-term readers of the comics or followers of the animated shows will have. And that's fine. Not everyone needs to be a comic book movie. You have to make this for those who have no history with the characters. You can give Easter eggs and fan service to those of us who do know the characters well, but you can't play to that audience because you narrow your scope so much. But all in all, I'm kind of digressing there. The Sony Spider-Verse, the Sony Spider-Man universe, it is a disjointed mess. But the Venom films, for me, have been a blast, and I don't see why this third one should be any different. Number 7, Red 1. All I'm going to say is this. Black Adam, Captain America, and Sabrina the Teenage Witch hunting for a kidnapped Santa Claus played by J.K. fucking Simmons, with Tormund Giantsbane himself as a slap-fighting champion Krampus. It's a premise we didn't know we needed, but it's damn sure one I'm thankful exists. If you haven't seen the trailer, go see the trailer. This looks like being absolutely insane in the absolute best way possible. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just need a movie that knows what it is, knows what audience it's playing for, and just goes for it. J.K. Simmons has had a fantastic late career renaissance, and the cast in this, including Lucy Liu as well and Bonnie Hunt, is absolutely stacked. The premise looks amazing. I like how when you watch the trailer, they've brought in all different elements of folklore. So all of it exists, and it's just this time it's Santa Claus. We don't know why Santa Claus has been kidnapped. Does it really matter? It's a fun romp. This is definitely one I think is going to be a Christmas movie that will be played on playlists year after year after year. It just looks like so much fun. Number 8, Y2K. Now, oh, that was an aggressive point. I'll tell you again. Now, for those of you too young to remember, the Y2K bug hysteria was huge at the end of 1999. Fear-mongering, admittedly fostered by IT experts looking to make a quick buck, led the population to believe that all electronic devices would shut down on the stroke of midnight as we entered into the year 2000. Aeroplanes would fall from the sky, banks would lose all your money, computers would stop working, the internet, as fledgling as it was, would disappear and would be put back to essentially the technological Stone Age. Of course, none of that happened. We all went on with our lives, but it is fun, I think. It's always fun to take a look at what if scenarios around such concepts, which brings us to this movie, Y2K. It's the latest horror comedy from those fine people at A24. It's a fantastic cast comprised of hot young prospects and industry vets, with the premise of this movie reminding me of the Stephen King classic adaptation Maximum Overdrive, where appliances and machinery come to life and then attack people. In that movie, it was a passing comet that Earth went through the tail of that caused the carnage, while in this film, as the name suggests, it's the Y2K bug. And the trailer is absolutely fucking wild. It's stupid, but stupid in that way it knows how stupid it is, how stupid the concept is, and just fucking runs with it. I love those type of movies. And also, due to it being a period piece from 1999, the soundtrack is going to be epic. Number 9, Craven the Hunter. As we near the end of the list, our penultimate entry finds us back in the Sony Spider-Man universe with Craven the Hunter. And before we get into that, can you believe that the MCU in 2024 had one movie, and what a movie it was, while the SSU has actually, with this, will be giving us 3 movies this year. We had Madam Web at the beginning of the year, which was fucking awful. We will have had, by the time this comes out, we will have had Venom The Last Dance, and then Craven the Hunter to round us out. Now, from the trailer, it is clear that they are going to be using the R rating this film has been given to its fullest, at least in the context of a comic book movie. But the issue I have with the SSU is that none of the movies in it seem to take place in the same universe, despite the SSU referencing only one universe. Sure, Morbius does reference Venom in his movie, and had 616 Vulture show up in the post-credit or mid-credit scene, so that does link it to the events of both Let There Be Carnage and Spider-Man No Way Home, respectively. But there's no indication that it is the same Venom as played by Tom Hardy. In addition, Madam Web takes place in its own separate universe and continuity again, while Craven seems to be set in yet another separate universe, meaning it makes no sense for Sony to call this a Spider-Man universe when there is A, still no actual Spider-Man, and B, the films do not share a universe. With that mini rant out of the way though, I can say that Madam Web is the only movie in the SSU that I have truly felt was a bona fide disappointment. Morbius is not a good movie objectively, but subjectively I had a blast watching it. Possibly not for the reasons that the filmmakers wanted me to enjoy it, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And despite its faults, I do believe with a better script, Morbius could have been a great movie. Craven, at this point, has me torn. The trailer gives more Madam Web vibes than it does the Venom ones, though that could be more to do with the way the origin is narrated in the trailer than anything else. I like that it seems to be incorporating more characters from the actual comics than the previous SSU movies. I mean, I know the Venom movies had all the symbiotes, but that's really it. But this one has Chameleon, it has Rhino confirmed, it has Russell Crowe absolutely hamming it up as Nikolai Kravenov, Craven's father. And you have to believe there'll be other characters not revealed in the trailer that will show up. So I'm excited for that. But will I enjoy the film? Now, obviously only time will tell. But I hope so. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, he's a good actor. I like him in pretty much everything I've seen him in. And he seems to be doing the role some level of justice from the trailer footage. But I have so little confidence in Sony and Sony's Spider-Man adjacent storytelling that the expectations going in are exceptionally low, regardless of the cast and regardless of what I actually liked from the trailer footage. I hope those expectations are unfounded and that we actually get something closer to Venom than we do Madam Web. Essentially, here's hoping we are pleasantly surprised and Craven hunts down box office gold. Number 10, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And we close out the list with movie number 10, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, arguably, the Sonic movies are the best video game to movie adaptations we've ever had. It's not a high bar. Truth be told, there's obviously many more misses than hits. Super Mario Brothers was also really, really good, but the Sonic films just work so well. And Jim Carrey, who has come out of retirement for this threequel, he, to me, is absolutely perfect as Dr. Robotnik. In the first two movies, James Marsden and Tika Sumpter, they've been excellent as our human proxies in this world. While the voice acting of Ben Schwartz, Colleen O'Shaughnessy and Idris Elba for the second movie, as Sonic, Tails and Knuckles respectively, they were absolute highlights of the previous movies. Adding Kristen Ritter is a huge plus. She's always worth a watch. And getting Keanu fucking Reeves, John Wick Neo himself, to voice Shadow is so perfect. It's like fan casting, that you can only sit back and smile whenever Shadow speaks. If you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. Even with the double turn of Shadow and Robotnik in the final act being as obvious can be, predictable when done well, will always trump a twist for the sake of having a twist. So for me, Sonic 3 will bring 2024 to a close with a smile, a huge smile on all of our faces. Before we wrap this up, a quick special shout out to a movie called Rebel Ridge. It's a Netflix only release, at least here in the UK. I think it's getting a limited theatrical release in the US, but from the trailer it's definitely one to watch. It has blatant echoes of First Blood, Sylvester Stallone's first Rambo movie. Obviously intentional in the premise. It looks like it's taking that premise for a modern edge. It has the makings of a very tight action flick with pathos, a strong positive message, a strong adaptation of injustice in action, and it's definitely something I recommend you go and watch the trailer if you haven't already, and then go and check it out on Netflix. I'll be doing that later in the week, and then leave your comments below if you have seen it and let me know what you think. And that will do it. 10 movies to check out between now and the end of the year. Let me know in the comments below which of these you'll be going to see, or mention any films not listed by me that have caught your eye. Let me know what you recommend we should be going to see before the end of the year. So thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to spend it here with me watching this video. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel, and as always, stay awesome. Goodbye.